before It Chapter 2 floats into theaters September 6th.
Come home to Daddy for only 3 weeks beginning August 15th.
You can join the Losers Club.
It's me, the Losers Club is officially begun.
The It experience on the corner of Hollywood and Vine in Los Angeles.
Come into the world of It Chapter 2 as you experience the Dairy Canal Days Festival. Play carnival games before you dare to enter the fun house with 9 immersive rooms.
Try to find a way out of the room.
Got your favorite club in the headway. Explore the Dairy underground sewers.
Where you might just see more than water.
Visit the It Experience Chapter 2. Free tickets available online.
Make sure to go see It Chapter 2 in theaters.
September 6th.
Swear it. If it isn't dead, if it ever comes back, we'll come back to it.
When the first movie played, and it says the end of chapter 1, audiences applauded. They wanted more, so now they're going to get more.
The second chapter starts 27 years later. The losers are summoned, and they drop everything they're doing, and they go back to Dairy.
It's about these adults now confronting their deepest fears. And it's not just Pennywise, but it's what he holds over them.
The evil in Dairy is working, so it had no choice but to finish what was started 27 years earlier.
No one who dies here ever really dies. But tell me, how is it being back in Derry?
Totally, the movie will feel just like the first one, but we'll crank up the horror aspects of it.
Andy's just going for broke as far as scope and scares.
For something otherworldly and magical by rediscovering the child in us. There's this fight to remember how deep those bonds are.
Andy put the people first. And as a result, you have an old-fashioned movie experience where you root for the good guys.
It's more than just a horror film. It's a coming-of-age film.
There's a handful of moments that will make you not sleep at night. And the rest of it is this gorgeous journey of life and friendship. This movie shows when you get together with your friends, there's nothing you can't accomplish. Pennywise has a craving for the losers. He wants to.
Hello everyone, this is the Holiday Guy, and oh my god, I am absolutely sold. I am absolutely seeing this frickin' movie. I am not watching any more behind the scenes stuff that just came out. If they release any more, not watching it. I'm forcing myself not to watch it. Don't worry, there's no jump scares. They didn't show any good parts. They just gave us hints to what to expect. And let me tell you, this is getting very interesting. Extremely interesting. Because they don't just hint to the final battle. They hint on what to expect from the adults, the story, and how scary this movie might just be. And let me tell you, by this fucking trailer, I show 2 glimpses of 2 trailers in this slideshow. Now, there's one trailer, one behind the scenes trailer I didn't show you because this video would have been absolutely too long to even upload. It would have took days to even upload this freaking video if I made another video on the other behind the scenes video. So this one, I just wanted to make it long enough to really explain what I need to explain. And let me tell you, this movie is not just my most anticipated movie of the year, it's my most anticipated film of all time. I thought Avengers Endgame was going to hold the #1 spot. No way. No way. And I'm shocked that this happened, because It Chapter 2 is now my most anticipated film of all time, and most likely will become my favorite horror film of all time. And I never knew this, but I searched up my research on the first one, and it turns out it's not a reboot or a remake. It's actually an adaptation to Stephen King's book, which is amazing. Awesome. And honestly, guys, I'm glad Andy Muschietti got a hold of this franchise, because it couldn't be any better without him. It couldn't. I'm telling you right now, the last director that was supposed to direct It Chapter 1 and 2, the idea that they had for It Chapter 1 with the other director before Andy Muschietti was terrible. They wanted to do an It Chapter 2, and the idea they had sounded so stupid. I'm glad Andy Muschietti took over, because guess what? Andy Muschietti is probably the perfect director for this franchise. Bill Skarsgård, guys, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think he's going to be better than Tim Curry's version of Pennywise in It Chapter 2, because I'm telling you, Bill Skarsgård was good in the first movie, and almost Tim Curry slightly beats him by not a whole lot. Now, It Chapter 2, Bill Skarsgård is going all in with his character, including Andy Muschietti. He's going all in with this film. And the behind-the-scenes footage that we get to see, they don't show anything too crazy, and I'm glad they're not. We get to see scenes from the movie, nothing too crazy, nothing crazy at all, and nothing that gives away anything, which is awesome. But man, this movie is gonna break records. This movie is gonna definitely hit $1 billion the first week it comes out. No way is it gonna make less than that the first week, because this is literally my most anticipated film. And the fact that Stephen King is saying this, people want it more after Chapter 1 into Chapter 2. People want more for Chapter 2. They want it to be better. Stephen King is telling us what to expect from this movie. And let me tell you, from the creator himself saying this is unbelievable. Unbelievable. The fact that he said the final confrontation is going to be epic, and that this movie is terrific, and then he comes out and says this in the behind the scenes that we are going to get more in this movie, makes me so happy. Because now I'm not worried at all. The fact that this movie is probably going to be better than the first one, and maybe the best horror film ever made of all time. It might hit that #1 spot for that reason. And I'm telling you, Bill Skarsgård, I think, is going to win an Oscar this year. I think the director that made It Chapter 1 and now is making It Chapter 2, Andy Muschietti and Barbara Muschietti, are going to win Oscars as well. And I think the actors that are playing as the kids and the adults are going to win Oscars as well. Because this movie, the shots that we get to see of the scenes, the way they're shot is perfect. The way the scene looks, the color, the detail, the background, the vibe of the scene is just perfect. The atmosphere is great. The atmosphere is a little different, but the good thing is Andy Muschietti does say that it's going to feel like the first one, but it's going to be different than the first one in a genius way, in a very terrifying way. And what's that? I can't remember what that word is, but the clown is going to be more like vengeance, a more vengeance clown. I think that's the word. The clown really wants to go after. It's that word if someone does something to you and you want to go after them for it. He's like more of a something, like that word for for that sentence I just said. And man, Andy Muschietti said himself he's not worried at all for this freaking movie. Like, this is going to be a good ass movie. This is probably going to be my favorite horror film of all time, and it's going to set records. It's probably going to beat Deadpool at Deadpool 2. Man, imagine if this movie beats Avengers Endgame. Imagine if it even bet Avengers Endgame. That tells you how good this movie was made. If a horror film can beat a Marvel movie, that's telling you something. That's telling you something how well made a movie is. Now, do I think it's going to come close to Avengers Endgame? Yes. Do I think this movie can beat Avengers Infinity War? You know what? I think Chapter 2 has a chance that it will beat Infinity War and come extremely close to Endgame. I don't think it will beat Endgame, but it's a possible chance, and it probably won't happen, but it's going to come close to Endgame for sure. Man, just in general, like, this movie just looks so good. Like, there's not much to say. Like, the fact that Stephen King is saying we're gonna get more for this movie, in this movie, we're gonna get more. So basically, they're listening to the fans. We're gonna get more out of this frickin' movie, and I'm glad. I don't think, back in 2016, no one ever thought that, like, we were gonna get It Chapter 1 the way, like, we knew It Chapter 1 was coming. They confirmed it in 2016. But the thing that we didn't expect was how good that frickin' movie was. And now people are thinking to themselves, can it beat the first one? They're getting all worried about it. If you tell me that it doesn't look better than the first one, there's something going on wrong with you. Because if you watch the second newest trailer, not the newest trailer for It Chapter 2, that like 30-second one, I mean the second newest trailer that came out yesterday, it's unbelievable. It looks better than the first one in so many good ways, and that's not a bad thing at all. Here's why it's not a bad thing. First of all, the second chapter is the final chapter. It ends in the second chapter as we know it. And see the scene right here? Look, if you looked behind Eddie there's something behind him. And I bet you guys didn't recognize it, but there was something behind him. Now, apparently there's something going on at this like clown fest for the premiere of It Chapter 2, and you can dress up as a clown and go to it, but I think you need a VIP ticket or something to go to it. You have to pay for it, obviously, but you have to dress up as a clown, clowns only. So you dress up as a clown and you get to experience It Chapter 2 in a very interesting way. You get to see a premiere when you're dressed up as a clown, which is actually cool. Very cool. Let me know what you guys think. You guys already told me you're excited. I'm extremely excited. This is my favorite, my most anticipated film of all time. Like, I just can't wait to see what they're going to do with this film. We know there's going to be a lot of things from Stephen King's book, but they're also doing something new with it. And I'm glad they are, because you don't want to just completely copy the book. You want to do your own thing with it as well. Well, not like your own thing, but like you want to do something different with it. Something a horror film that hasn't done before. And I think It Chapter 2 is doing something that a horror film has never done before, and going back to the roots of classic horror. It Chapter 1 went back to those roots in the 90s where, like, frickin' you didn't expect a scare or like the horror character was so good. Like back in the day, Freddy Krueger, Chucky, the old horror films, like those horror characters were so good, and now those horror characters are not even as good as they were. And It Chapter 1 proved me wrong that it's still possible. It Chapter 2 is gonna absolutely knock it out of the park with, I mean, Andy Muschietti is gonna knock it out of the park with this fucking movie. The two things that I bet you right now, the best part about this movie will be Pennywise, because this is supposed to be the final movie where Pennywise is very aggressive. He's gonna try killing all of the Losers Club now, because they almost killed him last time. But this movie is gonna be super intense. I can already tell this movie is gonna really make you sweat in theater. Like, this movie is gonna make your heart pump so damn fast. Like boom 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 boom. Like, I remember when I went to see the first one, my heart was going boom 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 boom. Like, I could feel it pumping fast because it was getting really intense in the theater. And It Chapter 2 is going to do the same thing, but it's going to be terrifying at the same time. And honestly, It Chapter 2 does look scarier than the first one, and it's supposed to crank up the horror, like the horror scariness and the horror in general. And apparently Andy Muschietti said that this movie is supposed to change horror in a good way, and I'm glad. And he said like, you know, this movie is his masterpiece, so like we're in for a roller coaster ride. We're in for something so incredible, it's not imaginable. And a lot of people are getting worried about Pennywise's final form in the movie. Now, the newest trailer hints to it, and I can already tell it's not just going to be a giant spider. They're doing something with it that's very interesting, and you get a little sneak peek of it, and it looks interesting. Like, you don't get to see the face or anything like that. You just get a little glimpse of something, and it's not like a full shadow form of it or nothing. But what you see is something that makes you go, whoa, that's interesting. I like this. And here's the thing. If it is the giant spider itself, I'm liking it so far. I'm liking what they're doing. Now, this could be the turtle situation from the book, but I don't think so. This is something that makes me go, what was that? And wait until you see at the end of this video what I'm talking about. But man, like, I'm not worried about this movie. And see this shot right here? I like this behind the scenes. What is this scene gonna be? Like, are the adults like gonna fight them in the sewers as well? Like, if that's the case, oh my god, that's gonna be awesome. Apparently there's one scene in this movie that has 4,000 gallons of blood. Now, the scene with Beverly in the bathroom with the blood, apparently that's only 500 gallons of blood, but there's one scene that it's the grand finale probably, and it has 4,000 gallons of blood. What if it was like Pennywise when he gets killed, he explodes and the blood goes everywhere? Could you imagine? That would be so freaking cool. Or something like that. Like, man, they could do so much with It Chapter 2. Like, okay, here's the thing. We all know it's not just going to be a giant spider. We know that. We know that they're going to do something new with it, because the glimpse we got of it was interesting. But this scene right here, guys, looks interesting. I really like this scene. I really like how they're going for a more dark scenes in this one, because I felt like the first one, you know, I kind of understand it and it's unexplainable, but I feel like it still could have been dark. Like, I felt like scenes still could have been dark in the first one, but not as dark as it is in chapter 2. But yeah, Pennywise in this movie is going to be so good. He's probably going to be the best part of this movie. I mean, it's possible, but I don't know. Like, apparently Pennywise is supposed to be like really good in this one, so cannot wait. And now this is interesting. What in the heck is this? Like, this is obviously the final battle. Like, we don't get to see what it is, but what they are encountering is interesting. I don't know what Pennywise is in this freaking movie, but I feel like Pennywise in this movie is going to be more than a giant spider. And oh my god. Okay, I can already tell what I'm going to be like. We're going to see Pennywise's final form in this movie, and my jaw's going to drop open. I'm going to be so amazed on what they did. And I can see it coming, because apparently they're going all in with his final form too. And if that's the case, can't wait. Guys, I would not be surprised if people are shocked how good this frickin' movie's going to be. Because some of my Haunter friends are worried, like, oh, it might not be good as the first one. Well, even looking at these shots right here, you can already tell we're in for a roller coaster ride. And let me tell you, this movie might just beat Infinity War. And it might beat Endgame. Not by much, though. What if this movie made the exact same amount of money, then they re-released it like Endgame did, then made more money than Endgame, with the total amount of money the second time, and then they added all the money up? That would be insane. Like, I'm telling you, this movie is definitely going to break records as we know it. It's coming. We all know this movie is going to be better than the first one. Some people have anxiety about this, and I kind of don't blame them. A lot of people have hopes for the second sequel, the second chapter here, and to be honest, I'm not worried about this whatsoever. I like this, how like Richie, the adult version, Bill Hader, how he's looking up and he looks almost like almost scared, like in a traumatized way, like he's angry. Like Bill Hader as Richie here looks angry, but he also doesn't want to go near this, whatever the frick he's looking at. He doesn't want to go near it. Now some people are like, we don't know if this movie's going to be good. Well, to be honest, this movie is going to be really good. Like, it's hard to explain stuff, guys, because the first one made $700 million, and there's people going on about, oh, what if this movie doesn't make as much as the first one? I can tell you right now, this movie is going to make more than the first one. It's most likely going to hit $1 billion the first week. And honestly, it might. I think this movie's going to hit $2 billion, possibly $3 billion. If this movie hits $3 billion, it hits the #1 spot. Do I think it's possible? Yes, but I don't know if they can do it. Like, we don't know how much money this movie could make. This movie could make $900 million the first week, or it's going to hit $1 billion, like everyone says. And even if it hits $900 million, that's still pretty good. But if it hits the $1 billion, that's going to be more insane. But yeah, guys, I cannot wait for this movie. Are you guys ready? Because I'm definitely seeing this. Like, probably like the second week it comes out, like maybe the first week. Like, this movie's going to be in theaters for a while, possibly the first week of October it'll still be in theater. But my cousin, I was going to invite my cousin to the theater, but he's too scared to go. I just started teasing him, saying, you chicken. I was just joking around with him though, but well, he's like 10 years old. I would imagine he's gonna obviously be scared. That's just how it is with kids sometimes. But he said my cousin was like, oh, I'm definitely buying this on Blu-ray when it comes out. I'm like, yeah. This movie would be so cool in IMAX. The problem is, where I am, our theater doesn't even have an IMAX. Like, it's a big theater, but like, it's not the biggest theater. So I'm like, crap. If it had IMAX, I think, guys, let me know in the comments down below. Does IMAX movies go in 3D? Like, I'm pretty sure they're in 3D as well. Like, you got like these IMAX moving seats, and like, if it rains, it's like really light mist, which I'm glad about. You consider you could consider this video a stream, because it is really long, but this is going to be my final video update on It Chapter 2. I might break it down into a couple of videos. We'll see. I don't know. But I'm probably just gonna release it on one big video, because, you know, I don't want it to make it look like I'm just doing this for views. I'm not. I actually like doing videos. I love doing videos. I like trying to make my videos as good as possible. So I like entertaining people. But, you know, I try to make my videos as good as possible. But right here, I like what's happening here. I don't know what this scene is or what's going on here, but it is outside, and Andy Muschietti has his hand in front of Pennywise, and what is going on? Andy Muschietti's like, Bill Skarsgård, I'm terrified of you, stay away from me. LOL, not. But I think this is interesting. I don't know what's going to happen here. If the adults are like, what if this is the scene where, from the It Chapter 2, where the little girl's riding on her bicycle, and she sees Tim Curry's Pennywise in the towels, and then he runs at her and kills her, and the mother comes out and sees her bicycle still moving when it's on the ground sideways. But that could be it. But I'm glad they're gonna re-experience the traumas they experienced in the first one. But we all know the scares are gonna be so much better in It Chapter 2. We know how intense this movie is gonna be. We know that this movie in general is just going to be a roller coaster ride, and I think that Bill Skarsgård is really excited to show people what he has in store for people, and maybe someday I can meet Bill Skarsgård himself. I think that would be really cool, to meet the actor himself and the director that made the film. Those two main people I would like to meet from this franchise, and you know, I think Bill Skarsgård would appreciate to see how much I care for his character, and how much I really enjoy it, and I prefer his way of the Pennywise character more than Tim Curry, because Tim Curry wasn't really that, like, aggressive. I felt like Tim Curry was just meh in the It films. Really, I didn't think Tim Curry was really that good of a Pennywise. And Bill Skarsgård really